When you rise, you begin to discover abilities you never knew you had. You begin to tap into reservoirs of strength that were dormant within you. You begin to realize that you were never designed to live a life of limitation, but a life of elevation. The human spirit is engineered to rise, to overcome, to break barriers, to rewrite stories. And even though life sometimes knocks that spirit down, even though circumstances sometimes bury it under disappointment, failure, and fatigue, that spirit still knows how to get back up, but it needs your cooperation. It needs your decision. It needs your discipline. It needs your willingness to force yourself upward even when gravity, emotional, mental, or situational tries to hold you down. The truth is no one becomes extraordinary by accident. Ordinary people become extraordinary through deliberate rising. When the average person stops, they continue. When others accept defeat, they push one more time. When others complain, they discipline themselves. When others fear the unknown, they embrace the challenge. What sets them apart is not talent, nor luck, nor perfect circumstances. What sets them apart is their refusal to allow comfort to be the ruler of their lives. They understand that everything they desire is guarded by discomfort, and they choose to fight through that discomfort because destiny is worth the struggle. You may not see the immediate results of your rising. You may not see the reward right away. You may not notice the improvement at first. Rising is often hidden before it is visible. Seeds rise underground long before they break above the soil. Muscles strengthen long before they visibly grow. Skills sharpen long before they publicly shine. The same is true with your destiny. You are rising long before the world sees it. You are getting stronger long before you feel it. You are becoming prepared long before the opportunity arrives. Never underestimate the power of invisible progress. Just because something is not yet seen does not mean it is not real. Your consistent rising is building a foundation that will one day hold the weight of your future. There will be moments when discouragement tries to convince you that your efforts are useless. There will be moments when the pace feels slow, when the results seem small, when the journey feels long. But progress is still progress even when it is slow. Movement is still movement even when it is tiny. Rising is still rising even when it feels like you are climbing through mud. The important thing is not how fast you rise, it is that you rise. Because every rise makes you better than you were yesterday. Every rise sharpens your focus, strengthens your character, and builds the discipline needed to handle great responsibility. Greatness is not measured by how easy your path is, but by how committed you remain when the path becomes hard. Anyone can rise when the wind is at their back. True greatness emerges when you rise against the wind. When you force yourself upward in seasons of pressure, you develop the kind of character that cannot be broken by circumstances. You develop a strength that cannot be stolen by adversity. You develop a mindset that cannot be defeated by doubt. And it is that version of you that your future is waiting for. You must understand that your destiny does not respond to excuses. It responds to effort. It responds to discipline. It responds to consistency. It responds to courage. You cannot talk your way into your future. You must work your way into it. Words create vision, but actions create reality. Many people speak of change, dream of change, wish for change, and pray for change, but only a few are willing to act in the direction of change. Your future is shaped not by what you say you want, but by what you rise to pursue. There is someone in the world right now with fewer resources than you, rising with more determination than you. There is someone facing greater challenges than you, still choosing to rise. There is someone carrying heavier responsibilities than you, still pushing upward. This is not to shame you. This is to wake you up to the truth that your future requires your strength, not your excuses. Your destiny requires your discipline, not your comfort. Your dreams require your resilience, not your hesitation. If the future version of you could speak to you today, they would say, please rise, please push, please fight. Please discipline yourself. Please keep going. I am depending on you. That future version of you is wiser, stronger, more influential, more fulfilled, more impactful. But they only exist if you rise today. The worst thing you can do is betray your future self by remaining loyal to your comfort. Comfort is the enemy of growth, the destroyer of ambition, the silent killer of potential. It whispers, stay here, stay safe, stay still. But your destiny whispers louder, move now, rise now, grow now. Sometimes rising requires letting go of the people who keep you down. Not everyone around you is designed to go where you're going. Some people are anchors, not elevators. Some people hold you at your current level because your rise threatens their comfort. Some people discourage your growth because your potential exposes their laziness. Some people mock your discipline because it reminds them of their excuses. You cannot rise with everyone. You must choose your associations intentionally. Surround yourself with those who challenge you, who push you, who sharpen you, who remind you of what you are capable of, who encourage your discipline, who celebrate your growth, who demand your excellence. If you want to rise to the level of greatness, you must rise beyond the level of average thinking. Average thinking says, do it later. Great thinking says, do it now. Average thinking says, it's too hard. Great thinking says, it's worth it. Average thinking says, I'm tired. Great thinking says, I'll rest after I grow. Average thinking says, maybe someday. Great thinking says, today is the day. Your thoughts control your actions, and your actions shape your future. To rise in life, you must first rise in your mind. The mental rise is the hardest rise. It is the rise against doubt, against fear, against insecurity, against the memories of past failure. The mind is a battlefield where destiny is won or lost. If you can conquer your mind, you can conquer your future. If you can lead your thoughts, you can lead your life. If you can command your emotions, you can command your destiny. You must train your mind to respond up. It's not pressure. You must train your mind to follow discipline, not feelings. Your mind must become your servant, not your master. Every dream demands a mental rise, a decision to see possibility instead of limitation, opportunity instead of obstacles, hope instead of fear. When your mind rises, your life rises. When your thinking elevates, your decisions elevate. When your decisions elevate, your habits elevate. When your habits elevate, your future elevates. Everything begins with the rise within. There are moments in life when you must rise quickly, without hesitation. Moments when the window of opportunity is short and you must seize it before it closes. Life does not wait for the slow. Opportunity does not wait for the indecisive. Purpose does not wait for the comfortable. When the moment comes to rise, you must respond with urgency. Delay is the silent assassin of destiny. How many people miss their future because they wait too long to rise? How many dreams die because someone hesitated at the threshold of action? How many visions fade because someone listened to their fears more than they listened to their purpose? Your future cannot afford your delay. Your destiny cannot afford your hesitation. Your purpose cannot afford your inconsistency. You must rise with urgency, with intention, with energy, with focus, with resolve. Every day wasted is a day stolen from your future. Every moment spent in hesitation is a moment lost in possibility. The time to rise is not tomorrow. It is not someday. It is now. But rising is not just about intensity, it's about consistency. A single rise does not change your life. A series of rises does. Rising once is inspiration. Rising daily is transformation. You must rise again and again. Even when it feels repetitive, even when progress seems slow, consistency beats intensity when intensity is inconsistent. Small disciplined actions over time build extraordinary results. And when you rise consistently, something powerful happens. You begin to build momentum. Momentum is the invisible force that makes the hard things easier, the slow things faster, the heavy things lighter. Momentum turns discipline into desire, effort into energy, action into instinct. But momentum only comes to those who rise even when they do not feel like rising. Your rise may be silent, but its results will be loud. Your rise may be unnoticed at first, but it will eventually be undeniable. Your rise may be lonely, but it will eventually be celebrated. Do not be intimidated by the smallness of your beginning. Every great story begins quietly. Every great rise begins humbly. Every great future begins with a simple decision. I will not stay here. You are stronger than you think. You are more capable than you believe. You are more resilient than the failures you've faced. You are more gifted than the opportunities you've missed. You are more prepared than the doubts in your mind suggest, but you will never discover this strength until you rise. Potential remains potential until discipline activates it. Vision remains imagination until action gives it form. Purpose remains theory until decision gives it power. And so today, with everything inside you, decide to rise. Not because it feels good, not because the path is easy, not because everything is perfectly aligned, but because your future needs you to. Your destiny needs you to. The world needs you to. Rise because you were not created to remain in the place of fear, in the place of excuses, in the place of limitation. Rise because you were designed to climb, to build, to create, to lead, to influence, to excel. Rise until your discipline becomes your normal. Rise until your consistency becomes your identity. Rise until your strength becomes unshakable. Rise until your future becomes undeniable. Rise even when you do not feel like it. Rise even when the odds are against you. Rise because your future depends on it. There will always be forces in life trying to pull you back to where you started. The pull of old habits, the weight of past mistakes, the gravity of familiar environments, the influence of people who refuse to grow, the whisper of doubts that once controlled you. But for every force pulling you backward, there is a greater force within you urging you forward. The problem is not that you lack the power to rise. The problem is that you have been trained to underestimate it. You have been conditioned to accept less than your potential, to shrink in the presence of challenges, to settle for what feels safe instead of what is destined. But now is the time to break that conditioning. Now is the time to unlearn the limitations that life has taught you and embrace the truth that rising is your natural state. You were never meant to remain grounded. You were designed to elevate. To rise means to confront the parts of yourself that prefer ease over excellence. It means facing the laziness that whispers, you can do it later. It means challenging the fears that paralyze your progress. It means saying no to distractions that drain your energy and yes to disciplines that build your future. Rising is often a war within yourself, and the battlefield is your choices. Every choice either pushes you upward or pulls you downward. Every choice either strengthens your future or strengthens your excuses. You think it's a small decision, but small decisions shape great destinies. One of the most powerful decisions you can ever make is the decision to rise, even when you don't know how everything will work out. Many people wait for clarity before they move, but clarity grows with movement. You don't need to see the entire staircase to take the first step. You only need enough courage to lift your foot. The path becomes clearer as you rise. Revelation follows action. Understanding develops through experience. Confidence grows through repetition. Waiting for perfect instruction is often a disguised form of fear. You rise first, and the clarity you need for the next level will meet you at that level. When you force yourself to rise, you begin to separate from the version of yourself that was controlled by weakness. Weakness is not defeated by wishing. It is defeated by rising. Every time you rise, you weaken the power of doubt. Every time you rise, you challenge the authority of fear. Every time you rise, you break the pattern of procrastination. Every time you rise, you reclaim another piece of your potential. Strength is not built in the absence of difficulty, but in the decision to move through difficulty. Many people say they want the future, but they are not willing to rise to the responsibilities that come with the future. Your future requires a level of discipline you have not yet exercised, a level of emotional control you have not yet mastered, a level of commitment you have not yet sustained. Rising demands that you hold yourself accountable. No one can rise for you. No one can build your habits. No one can wake up with your goals in their mind. No one can discipline your mind or govern your emotions. Your future is too important to outsource. You must rise for yourself. There will be moments when rising feels like an impossible ask. Moments when your mind is tired, your spirit is discouraged, your body feels heavy, your days feel long, and life seems unfair. In those moments, rising feels like a mountain. But that is exactly why you must push. The moments that demand the most from you are the moments that produce the greatest transformation within you. Diamonds are produced under intense pressure. Gold is refined through fire. And champions are forged in seasons where rising feels most difficult. There is greatness in you waiting to be revealed, but difficulty is the doorway. Rise through it. Do not compare your rising to anyone else's. Everyone's path is different. Everyone's burden is different. Everyone's calling is different. Comparison is the thief of destiny. When you measure your progress against someone else's pace, you rob yourself of the joy of your own growth. Your rise may be slower. Your rise may be quieter. Your rise may take longer. But it is still your rise, and it is valuable. The only comparison you should make is between the person you were yesterday and the person you are rising to become today. You may not realize it, but every time you rise, you activate a chain reaction. Your rise inspires someone else to rise. Your discipline influences someone else's discipline. Your courage sparks someone else's courage. Rising is not just personal. It is generational. Sometimes you rise not only for yourself, but for those who will come after you. Sometimes you rise to break the cycles that have held your family, your community, or your environment captive. Your rise can set a new standard. Your rise can create a new legacy. Your rise can redefine what is possible for the next generation. You may think you are rising for yourself, but destiny has a way of multiplying the impact of those who dare to elevate. You must also understand that rising is not just physical effort, it is spiritual alignment. When you rise into discipline, you align yourself with divine order. When you rise into purpose, you align yourself with your assignment. When you rise into responsibility, you align yourself with the opportunities waiting for you. Rising is your way of saying to the universe, I am ready. And when you are ready, life begins to rearrange itself in your favor. Doors open, people appear, resources come, ideas flow, strength multiplies, rising creates alignment, yet rising also requires endurance. There will be seasons where progress is invisible, where results seem hidden, where the journey feels long. These are the seasons that test your endurance. Anyone can rise once. Anyone can rise when the reward is visible. But only the committed rise when the path feels barren. Endurance is the currency of destiny. If you want to live a future that outlasts pressures and circumstances, you must develop endurance that outlasts emotions and moods. Your feelings may fluctuate, but your commitment must remain. The rise you make today might feel small, but the future built on that rise will be great. The habits you form today may seem insignificant, but they are laying the foundation for the life you will one day enjoy. The discipline you exercise now may feel taxing, but it is strengthening the character needed for the responsibilities ahead. Nothing you give in the process of rising is wasted. Every effort is an investment. Every sacrifice is a seed. Every disciplined decision is a deposit into your destiny. The greatest enemy of your rise is the belief that you have time. Time is a gift, not a guarantee. The future seems distant, but it arrives faster than you expect. What you do today determines what tomorrow looks like. You cannot build a great future with tomorrow's effort. You must build it with today's decisions. If you delay your rise, you delay your future. If you postpone your discipline, you postpone your destiny. If you avoid the hard work now, you will face harder consequences later. The cost of not rising is far greater than the cost of rising. There will be voices in your life, internal and external, that try to talk you out of rising. The voice of fear will say, what if you fail? The voice of insecurity will say, you are not good enough. The voice of the past will say, you have tried before and it didn't work. The voice of comfort will say, you don't need to push so hard. The voice of society may say, settle here, this is enough. But the voice of purpose says, rise. The voice of destiny says, there is more. The voice of your future says, do not stop. You must decide which voice you will obey. Rising requires focus. You cannot rise while entertaining every distraction. You cannot rise while complaining about the journey. You cannot rise while feeding your weaknesses. You cannot rise while indulging in habits that drain your time, your energy, and your clarity. Focus is the fuel of rising. When you focus your thoughts, your actions, your habits, your energy, and your intention, you become unstoppable. A focused mind is a dangerous weapon. A focused life is a powerful force. When you look back over your life in the years to come, the moments you will be most proud of will not be the moments where things were easy. It will be the moments where you forced yourself to rise despite the challenges, the moments where you refused to quit, the moments where you pushed through the exhaustion, the moments where you silenced your excuses, the moments where you believed in your future more than your feelings. Those are the moments that build you. Those are the moments that shape you. Those are the moments that define you. Your future is a gift, but it is also a responsibility. The potential inside you is not just for you. It is for the world you are meant to impact. Your rise is necessary not only for your own success, but for the people you will help influence, teach, inspire, or lead. Someone's breakthrough is connected to your rise. Someone's healing is connected to your rise. Someone's clarity is connected to your rise. Your rising is not selfish, it is service. Do not let fear stop you. Do not let doubt slow you. Do not let failure discourage you. Do not let comfort distract you. Do not let people's opinions limit you. Do not let your past define you. You have everything you need to rise within you already. Courage, strength, resilience, vision, creativity, purpose. The potential is there. The future is waiting. The opportunity is available. All that remains is your decision to rise. Rise even if you don't failed before. Rise even if you don't feel ready. Rise even if the path is unclear. Rise even if it is uncomfortable. Rise even if it scares you. Rise with everything in you. Rise with intention. Rise with endurance. Rise with courage. Rise with discipline. Rise because you were created to rise. Rise because the world needs what is inside you. Rise because your future depends on it. There comes a time in your rising when you begin to recognize that the greatest battles you face are not against circumstances around you, but against limitations within you. The greatest mountains are not external, they are internal. The hardest chains to break are not the ones others put on you, but the ones you fastened around your own mind through years of doubt, fear, and self-limiting beliefs. Rising requires that you confront these invisible boundaries and declare, I will no longer be held captive by thoughts that do not serve my future. Your mind must rise before your life can. Your thinking must evolve before your circumstances do. Your belief must strengthen before your path becomes clear. When you force yourself to rise, you teach your mind a new pattern. You train it to take action where it once hesitated, to develop courage where it once retreated, to think in possibilities where it once thought in limitations. The mind learns quickly, and every time you choose to rise, you build a mental memory of progress. Eventually, what once felt impossible becomes natural. What once felt heavy becomes light. What once felt overwhelming becomes manageable. Every rise rewires your identity. You begin to see yourself as someone capable, someone resilient, someone disciplined, someone who can endure, someone who can build, someone who can conquer. But rising is not a single event. It is a lifestyle, a commitment, a repeated decision. Those who rise once experience motivation. Those who rise daily experience transformation. And transformation is what shapes destinies. Transformation is what shifts family lines. Transformation is what turns ordinary individuals into world change. You must rise with the mindset that this is not a temporary burst of effort, but a permanent shift in who you are becoming. Your future requires a consistent version of you, not a seasonal one. There will be moments where rising will cost you relationships. Not because you dislike anyone, but because elevation demands separation. Some people are only comfortable with you as long as you stay at the level they know. The moment you begin to rise, it exposes their own unwillingness to grow. Your discipline highlights their complacency. Your vision reveals their lack of direction. Your consistency makes their excuses uncomfortable. And instead of rising with you, some will try to pull you back down to make themselves feel better. You must love them, but you cannot allow them to limit you. Not everyone can handle your next level. And that is okay. Rise anyway. Separation is not rejection. It is preparation. There are places your future needs you to go that others are not ready for. There are opportunities waiting that require your full focus. There are doors opening that cannot accommodate unnecessary weight. When you rise, you must travel light. Release the fear of losing people. You are not losing anyone. You are gaining clarity. You are gaining discipline. You are gaining alignment. You are gaining the strength needed to fulfill what you were created for. The right people will rise with you. The wrong ones will fall away. That is the natural order of growth. Rising also requires that you develop a long-term vision. You cannot rise effectively while thinking only about the moment. The moment is small, but the future is vast. Temporary emotions cannot guide permanent decisions. If you make decisions based on how you feel today, you will sabotage the version of yourself you are meant to become tomorrow. You must train yourself to think in terms of legacy, purpose, impact, and eternity. Every rise must be aligned with where you want to be, not where you currently are. Your current situation is temporary, but your potential is permanent. Your present feelings are temporary, but your destiny is eternal. There will be days when your rising feels thankless. Days when no one notices your effort, when no one celebrates your progress, when no one applauds your discipline. These are the days that shape champions. Anyone can rise when people are watching. True strength is built in the unseen hours, in the private disciplines, in the early mornings and late nights when there is no spotlight. Your future is not being built in public. It is being built in the quiet repetition of daily rising. The world sees the results, but only you see the work. And it is the work that makes the results possible. Do not despise the hidden season. Hidden seasons grow roots. Visible seasons grow fruit. If you try to show fruit before you develop roots, life will crush you. The pressure of visibility will break you if you have not developed the depth required to sustain it. Rising in private builds the endurance needed to last in public. Your time will come. Your moment will arrive. But for now, keep rising in the shadows. Keep building in the quiet. Keep strengthening the foundation the world cannot see. When the season of visibility arrives, you will not just rise, you will remain. There is a version of you waiting to be revealed that you have not yet met. A version with greater wisdom, greater courage, greater discipline, greater strength, greater resilience, greater creativity, greater leadership. That version is not far away. It is simply hidden behind consistency. Every time you rise, you peel away another layer of limitation and uncover more of who you truly are. Rising is not about becoming someone else. It is about unlocking the person you were always meant to be. It is not an addition. It is a revelation. Many people believe rising requires massive leaps, dramatic transformations, or grand achievements. But rising often begins with the simplest actions. Waking up earlier, planning your day, breaking a bad habit, practicing a new skill, saying no when you normally say yes, saying yes when you normally stay silent, speaking up when fear tells you to be quiet, starting something instead of continuously thinking about it, finishing something instead of abandoning it halfway. The rise happens in the small things long before it shows up in the big things. Small disciplines build large destinies. Rising also requires that you confront your past, not to dwell in it, but to overcome it. Your past may contain failures, disappointments, betrayals, missed opportunities, or painful moments that have shaped your confidence. But your past is not a prophecy. It is not a prison. It is not a prediction of your future. The only power your past has is the power you give it. The moment you decide, I will not allow yesterday to define tomorrow, you break its influence. Your future does not need permission from your past to flourish. You must rise beyond the memories that once held you captive. You may have been broken, but you can rise whole. You may have been rejected, but you can rise confident. You may have been discouraged, but you can rise empowered. Life has a way of challenging every rise with resistance. The moment you decide to elevate, you will meet obstacles that test your commitment. The moment you decide to discipline yourself, distractions will multiply. The moment you decide to grow, old habits will call you back. The moment you decide to rise, everything comfortable will try to seduce you. Growth demands resistance. Resistance strengthens you. Pressure develops you. Opposition activates your potential. Do not fear resistance. It is proof that you are rising. You must also understand that rising is a form of protection. When you rise above unhealthy environments, you protect your purpose. When you rise above negativity, you protect your peace. When you rise above excuses, you protect your future. When you rise above laziness, you protect your potential. Rising is not just an act of courage, it is an act of preservation. The higher you rise, the less vulnerable you become to the distractions and destructions that trap others. As you rise, you will notice that your goals evolve. What once seemed impossible will become your new starting point. What once intimidated you will become normal. What once overwhelmed you will become easy. Growth does not make life easier, it makes you stronger. And as you grow stronger, the challenges that once defeated you lose their power. The obstacles that once stopped you become stepping stones. The fears that once controlled you become insignificant whispers you barely acknowledge. You must rise even when you do not have support. Some journeys begin alone. Some victories are built in silence. Some breakthroughs happen when no one believes in you, no one invests in you, no one understands you. But solitude is not a sign of abandonment, it is a sign of preparation. You are never truly alone when you are rising because purpose is with you. Potential is with you. Strength is with you. Vision is with you. And even when people cannot see your future sees you. Rising will require you to change your language. Words shape realities. Your words are small, your life will be small. If your words are weak, your courage will be weak. If your words are negative, your mindset will be negative. Speak in alignment with your rise. Speak in alignment with your future. Speak in alignment with your identity. Speak possibilities, not limitations. Speak progress, not stagnation. Speak breakthrough, not breakdown. Your tongue must rise if your life will rise. There will be days when you rise and still feel like you are behind. But being behind is a mindset, not a reality. You are not behind, you are becoming. You are not late, you are learning. You are not slow, you are strengthening. Progress does not happen on a clock, it happens in alignment. And when you rise with consistency, alignment finds you. Every rise deposits something into your character. Every rise sharpens your clarity. Every rise builds your resilience. Every rise prepares you for doors you have not yet reached. Do not underestimate the compounding effect of daily elevation. What looks small today will produce something extraordinary in the future. You are building a legacy one rise at a time. Rise with focus. Rise with passion. Rise with endurance. Rise with intention. Rise even when you feel like you cannot rise anymore. Rise until rising becomes your lifestyle. Rise until rising becomes your identity. Rise until your future becomes your present. Rise because you were created to elevate. Rise because you are capable of more than you know. Rise because your future is calling you by name. And every time you rise, you get closer to meeting the person you were born to become. And as you rise, something extraordinary begins to happen. Your fears begin to shrink. Not because fear disappears, but because your spirit grows. Fear never leaves fully, but courage expands, capacity increases, and suddenly what once terrified you becomes something you step over like a small stone on a long road. Once you rise, you start seeing resistance differently. You begin to understand that what is resisting you is actually refining you. It is sharpening your gift, chiseling your character, stretching your faith, and expanding your mind. Nothing that rises stays small. Nothing that grows remains limited. Everything that lifts upward must outgrow what held it down. And that is exactly what is happening to you when you force yourself to rise. You outgrow small thinking, small company, small fears, and small habits. You begin to sense that your life was designed for more. And even though you cannot fully see the complete blueprint, your spirit knows it exists. Many people are waiting for their future to come to them. But the future is never delivered to anyone's doorstep. The future is built, constructed, shaped, and demanded. The future responds only to those bold enough to rise toward it, not those who sit back expecting it to arrive on its own. Every time you rise, you signal to your future that you are ready to receive what belongs to you. And every time you hesitate, procrastinate, or shrink back, you silently tell your future that you are not prepared for its weight. Because make no mistake, destiny has weight. Blessing has weight. Favor has weight. Influence has weight. And only those who rise can carry it. Some people stay stuck because they are waiting for strength before they rise. But rising is what generates the strength they are waiting for. You don't get energy and then rise, you rise, and the energy follows. You don't get motivation and then move, you move, and motivation reveals itself. You don't get clarity first, you act, and clarity appears as you walk. That is why rising is difficult. Because it requires action before assurance, movement before certainty, obedience before understanding. But that is the nature of greatness. It demands that you confront what is uncomfortable so you can inherit what is undeniable. You must understand that the world does not sit still. While you hesitate, something is shifting. While you delay, someone else is rising. While you entertain excuses, someone else is preparing. While you remain comfortable, someone else is getting uncomfortable so they can grow. And if you do not rise when you are supposed to, life moves forward without waiting for you. Opportunities expire, seasons close, doors that were once open do not remain open forever. Destiny requires a response when the moment calls. Your future depends on your ability to recognize that the moment to rise is now. Not when everything is perfect, not when everything feels easy, not when people approve, not when circumstances align, but now. If you look closely at any person who rose in life, you will find one common thread. They reached a point where staying where they were became more painful than rising. The comfort that once felt safe eventually felt suffocating. The familiar that once felt secure eventually felt limiting. And that inner discomfort pushed them to rise. Because deep inside every human being is a whisper, a divine nudge, a quiet insistence that says, there is more. That whisper refuses to leave you alone. It surfaces when you are trying to settle. It bothers you when you attempt to shrink. It interrupts you when you convince yourself to stay the same. And no matter how much you ignore it, that whisper keeps coming back because your future is calling you, and it refuses to be ignored. Rising does not mean you will not face resistance. In fact, rising guarantees resistance. When you elevate your thinking, you threaten everything around you that has adapted to your old level. When you rise, some people will misunderstand you, some will withdraw, some will question your decisions, some will criticize your discipline. Some will accuse you of changing as if staying small was a virtue. They will react because your rise exposes their refusal to rise. Your growth confronts their stagnation. Your discipline reveals their excuses. And your courage highlights their fear. But do not shrink to soothe the others. Do not dim your fire to keep others comfortable. Do not return to what you left simply because someone else refuses to move forward. You must rise anyway. You must also rise even when no one cheers for you. Rise when no one applauds. Rise when no one believes in you. Rise when those you trusted do not support you. Rise when doors close, plans fail, and progress feels slow. Rise when you are tired, frustrated, misunderstood, and unseen. Rise when everything around you says quit, but something inside you says keep going. Because the future you are rising for is not built on applause. It is built on conviction. It is built on consistency. It is built on sacrifice. It is built on tenacity. It is built on your willingness to say, I will show up even when it is not easy. Some of you don't need another confirmation. You don't need another sign. You don't need another sermon. You don't need another push. You already know what you must do. You already know where you must go. You already know what habits must end, what relationships must be redefined, what discipline must begin, what environment must change, what excuses must die. You know, you just haven't risen yet. And your future is waiting for that moment, your moment of decision. Every great transformation begins with a single internal command, rise. Not trail, not wish, not think about it, but rise. Rising is decisive. Rising is intentional. Rising is disruptive. Rising interrupts old patterns. Rising breaks old cycles. Rising challenges familiar mindsets. Rising forces you to confront the version of yourself that is too small for where you are going. The future version of you is powerful, disciplined, wise, bold, focused, and unstoppable. But that version cannot appear until you rise. And the amazing thing is this: the moment you rise, unseen doors begin to open. Resources appear. Ideas emerge. People come into your life who are aligned with your assignment. Opportunities begin to flow toward you, not because they were not there before, but because you finally rose to the level where they exist. Blessings are never missing. They are just positioned at higher altitudes. And unless you rise, you cannot reach them. You must force yourself to rise because your purpose is too important to waste. You must rise because your family needs you to rise. You must rise because your assignment on this earth requires a higher version of you. You must rise because the world is waiting for the gift inside you. You must rise because time is moving. You must rise because you are capable of more than you have allowed yourself to believe. And you must rise because your future depends on it. In the end, your life will not be measured by the moments you felt ready, but by the moments you rose when everything in you wanted to remain still. Your future is not waiting for a perfect version of you. It is waiting for a committed version of you. The world will only see the greatness within you when you decide to rise above who you were yesterday. So stand up in the strength you have, move forward with the courage you possess, and step boldly into the destiny that has been calling your name long before you understood its weight. Refuse to shrink, refuse to settle, refuse to surrender to fear or delay. This is your moment. This is your time. This is your season to rise. And when you rise, everything connected to your purpose will rise with you. Your future depends on your decision today. So rise and keep rising until your life becomes the proof that you were born for greatness.